Miss
Are we
J,
here?
can you hear
Are we
me?
here?
We're here.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Baby, another shady pornity, darling.
Yes,
Yeah.
sorry, that's Bella in the background. She heard me yelling. That's my dog. She thinks, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you look pretty today. I love these glasses on you. I live.
Yeah, okay.
He's like,
Okay.
yeah, okay. So we have tons of questions. Let me just get them
Really?
up. We have tons of questions. But we actually, but
Wait,
before
am I
we,
sitting in my spot? Wait. Let me
you
ask
actually
my
look
favor.
perfect. You look
Am I sitting in my
perfect.
spot? They back because I got a rod up my back, so I don't lean back.
Oh, why were they coming for you last week? Because you were laying
Oh,
all the way
baby, I
back.
was looking like they sound look like a hedgehog.
He's
We know
like
and a
a
no-neck
hedgehog.
monster. And we
Oh,
know we look like no-neck monsters.
okay.
Anyway,
So now you're sitting upright and ready.
oh,
And
baby,
wait,
all right.
actually, before we dip into cycle 2T, okay, I feel like, because there were kids that lost last week's, our little chat last Friday. So we just want to tell everybody, we are saving this. We are going to post this up on Facebook and YouTube so you guys can all rewatch it. And then also you can check our accuracy because apparently we ruffled a few feathers last week. And, I just casually mentioned based off of a fan question, about Winnie Harlow. I didn't really say anything, but
J. Manuel, we are not speaking about your fellow Toronto Winnie Harlow. Winnie, we love you. I have no issues.
I love her too. I don't even know her personally. That's the crazy thing. And apparently we ruffled feathers by bringing it up. I didn't even say anything about it. I honestly love to bless everyone with their success. If you've got success, do you? You know what I mean? And I think that's great.
Wow. Okay.
So we can move on to this week's, which, I know one of the things, we're getting a lot of questions about this, and I noticed both with my post and your post that Mr. Nigel Barker had chimed in our little chat, and he was a new judge this season for season 2.
Oh, that's because I saw Nigel the first time, I think, in Paris, and he was carrying, I want to say maybe Claudia Schiffer on his shoulders in the Chanel fashion show. That's the first time I ever saw Nigel.
Oh, so you actually saw him when he was a working model on the runway, looking all suave and hot with all his hair, and yeah.
That was Nigel. And then I realized after I met him, but my thing was, how did he end up on Top Model was a question that I was asked before. And I said, I believe that you casted him.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't realize, I wasn't just kind of working with the girls on the show. I was in charge of the creative, everything that went behind there. So hiring photographers, hair, makeup, everything. I really produced behind the scenes. So going into season 2, there was a discussion in one of our first production meetings about having a photographer on the panel, which made a lot of sense. Have a photographer and give their opinion about how the girls are performing. And so Nole Marin, who is also new to Cycle 2, who I brought on to style the show, the shoots, I told him that I was looking for a photographer and someone that, was charismatic and articulate and et cetera. And he had recommended Nigel. So the first time I met Nigel, Nole brought Nigel over to my apartment on 7th Avenue. And we had a chat and we talked. Oh, look, would you stop the looks? Yes, Nole was there.
You brought Nigel over to your apartment. Why did he come to your apartment?
Because, so early in the early cycles of America's Next Top Model, we didn't have a production office unless we were in production, in the beginning. And I was working basically, shut up.
No, I'm just in myself. Nigel should know better than to go to a strange man's apartment as a fashion model.
First of all, I'm very professional. You know that. Number 2, Nole was there. But here was the thing that people don't know. I think Nigel mentioned this.
Nole was there. Exactly. Nole was there. Exactly. Okay.
Stop. Okay. You're people.
I'm just saying. The 2 of you were there. I'm just trying to figure out the stories. I did ask for you guys how Nigel got to the show. Let Jay continue to express or explain.
Thank you. So Nigel, basically what we did was we talked about the format of the show, and I said, I have it. I wanted to pull it out and put it on my TV, but I couldn't find the tape. I actually shot Nigel's screen test on a camcorder in my living room, and we like opened up, like, I think it was like a Herb Ritz coffee table book, and we're flipping through the photos, and he was, you know, critiquing like the models. And that's actually his screen test I shot. And then I basically sent the tape over to the production team and the network. And that's how we brought him into the show. So, you know, it's so interesting with the way all of us kind of joined the show. Like, I wasn't even supposed to be the creative director. And because I was starting to take over different things, you know, Tyra said, Jay should produce this stuff. It was just crazy.
Fans, and that's how Nigel became the noted fashion photographer.
Yes, yes. But what we love about Nigel is he always was like quick with his comments, on top of his game.
British.
And British, yes.
Dry humor. Very British.
And before we even get into all these questions, one of the questions I saw many times was, you know, talking about your favorite shoots, which I'm going to talk about because Nigel, obviously the way we introduced him on the show was with that very controversial Adam and Eve nude photo shoot in the Garden of Eden. And what was really crazy is I had spent weeks pre-producing that shoot. I brought in Ed Libby, who is very, very talented. He had a company at the time called, yeah, Ed is amazing. He had a company called Bodycast. He drew all of the Eves for me as illustrations, gorgeous illustrations. And then, I mean, I produced the shoot for weeks and weeks and weeks. I actually happened to be in Tokyo working when I got a call saying, we've got to move production up 2 weeks. Can you move it up? I'm like, we can, but I was there working for LVMH, and I couldn't leave the job I was on. And they said, we've got to do the first photo shoot without you. And here was this first shoot that I produced and had meetings on and did everything for. And then, yeah, so basically the way I art directed it, what the fans don't know is, obviously Nigel introduced himself. I was supposed to introduce him to the girls. And then, you know, he did the shoot. And what they did was every time they took a shot of the girls, they emailed it to me. And because I was 13 hours ahead, I was laying in bed at night with my laptop on my chest, looking at the photos going, oh, tweak the lighting here, move this way. And I was art directing from my bed. They should have shot that. But
the thing about that is when I'm laying in my bed with my computer in my chest, I'm not looking at the shift. I'm not looking at the shift to send to production. That's all I'm saying. I'm just checking emails. Anyway, so that's how Nigel was born.
Yeah, that's how Nigel was born in that first, and that famous shoot. Oh my God, that shoot, the big scandal was one, because the guys were really naked. The girls were painted nude as well. And you know, it was, look, models have to pose with kind of the illusion of nudity all the time. We cover for modesty. But do you remember one of the guys in one of the photos? It went to air. The photo got out there with his nutsack hanging out below. Yes. The photo got out and we didn't retouch it out, but somehow that one photo got missed. Look at your face.
Okay. Okay. So
they're talking about Shandi and all these things down here. We see you guys. We're getting to your questions right now. So let's start off with, I love this first one from, I'm going to try and do a lot of your usernames. I'm sorry, but a lot of them are crazy. But Victoria_plural asked, looking back at the style from this cycle, which is cycle 2, are there any trends that you see that make you laugh or cringe? So we got to remember, this is 2003. We shot cycle 2. So I can't remember because I'm so busy moving forward that I'll have to go backwards, Victoria. I can tell you exactly what it is because they always ask me all the time because people watch Top Model like it was shot last week. Like, why am I in True Religion jeans, flared True Religion jeans, and Ed Hardy hats?
Oh my God!
Please, that's what everybody was wearing.
Everybody was wearing that at the time, and I remember there was this one guy that I met called Nathan Fuja, who was working there, who actually was very generous with the brand to give, not donate, but to give me T-shirts and give you T-shirts. And I remember wearing that stuff. So Victoria, there was a moment of True Religion jeans with a little bit of a flare. Well, a little bit of a flare was basically for Jay's demi high heel boots that he had to wear because he had to be a little bit taller.
I'm 6'1". Remind everyone I'm 6'1". You're 6'4". There's a reason.
And again, he needed to have that flare just to cover that high heel that he was wearing. he was rated heels before, was very popular for the boys wearing heels these days. Let's be clear.
Let's be clear. Can we go next question? So I think it's Eureka is how the name is spelled. How do you feel about cycle 2 showing the girls being weighed and measured? Was Tyra okay with that? It's a good question.
Well, actually, Eureka, I think maybe she had, maybe that was her requesting that. Because I'm not in production. I'm not the production meeting, so I don't know how that happens.
I recall I was there when it was discussed. I don't know when it was first discussed, but I believe production brought this up to Tyra because they wanted to represent what models would have to go through at that time. We got to remember at that time, guys. And you know, Tyra has always been an advocate for all-inclusive beauty. And I remember her struggling with this, but she also wanted to focus on the fact that girls were going to have to deal with this. So I believe, you know, she said that we have to go along with it. So that was at that time, because that's what models would be measured for samples, right? Tyra was measured.
Well, they will be measured for themselves, but I think a lot of that took place when the girls went into the modeling agency to regulate their weight, to get themselves in shape. So I don't know if that necessarily happened as far as going in to see a designer or for casting that they weighed the girl. I think they may have taken the measurements to create clothing for her or that she can wear the sample sizes. But I don't believe that a model was weighed back then to be a part of like for fashion or something. They just put clothing on her, and if she fits the clothing,
they would do fittings. And
that's what happened. So
well, that was a good question. Another question from, I think it's Sion.w said, the girls always say that Camille was much worse than the edit showed. Do you, sorry, there's just a little bit of a mix up here. Is there anything or other things that she did amongst the girls? Sorry, that question's written very weird. So I guess they're trying to figure out, was Camille really as bad as she came off?
From what I gathered about Camille, I mean, to the fan that, you know, asked the question, she had this very fierce attitude, like I have to work a little extra hard, being one of the few Black girls for the job. I mean, when it came down to her walk, her attitude, you know,
signature walk, my signature walk.
Her mama was fierce. Her mama was out there being fabulous. She showed up wearing designer labels, some serious like Versace and Dolce labels. And at the time, the girls who did wear that on the runway, if they weren't Naomi, Tyra, Linda, Christy, those girls. So
your audio just went weird for a second. Can you guys hear Miss J? Like something just happened with your audio for a second. Can you hear me? Jay?
I can hear you. I can hear you clearly.
Oh, okay. Because your sound went weird. I don't know if anyone else is noticing that. I can hear you, but it just sounds like a little funny.
Am I moving? Moving? Can you see
there
me?
you go. It's clear. Oh, it's clear now. Perfect. Yeah, I agree with you with the Camille thing. And you know, this is a topic that a lot of people talk about. And I know Tyra's talked about it. And I think a lot of us, you know, have felt this. I feel like when you're a person of color or minority in the business, even today, you know, you got to work 3 times as hard to have half as much. And I think that's a little bit of what Camille was bringing to the table. I never had an issue with her one-on-one. Okay, what were you going to say, Jay? Go ahead.
It's called a competition. Yeah. Simple. Bottom line. If I had to be the best Black bitch in a competition, whatever I have to do to get there, I'm going to do that. Done deal. Next.
Okay, so Sammy Gibbs has asked this question. What were your honest thoughts at the time when you heard that Tyra was trying to start a singing career? And what were your thoughts during her music video that she shot? Miss J, would you like to start there?
Well, Sammy, I mean, she was proving that she was multi-talented. I mean, I wish I could sing. Move your body, body, move your body, body, shake your body, body, move your body,
shake your body, body, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, I can cook, I can clean, I can birth babies, I can sew, I can do a lot of things, but I can't sing. So Tyra had one talent up on me that I didn't have.
You know, here's the interesting thing. There was a song. Okay, so obviously I knew about Tyra doing this before we produced the shows because I had to produce The photo shoots and the music video. So the behind the scenes tea there is I got to hear other songs that Tyra did. The world did not. And there is a ballad that she recorded, and can't remember the title of it. But I actually really thought that song was so powerful. It was vulnerable. And, you know, I was really excited about her doing this, about her doing music. I think, honestly, she was nervous about it. She talked about that many times. But the thing that drove me crazy about the music video, I'm going to be real honest about this. The music video.
Well, I wasn't asked to be in the video, so that's why I'm pissed.
Well, you can blame me for that because, of course, I had to do the credit for the music video. I was trying to make it about her.
I knew this bitch was shady. They talked about this bitch. I knew this bitch. I knew Mrs. J was shady. Now it comes out. The reason why I didn't get in the music video for Tyra's music video was because J. Manuel didn't cast me. Okay, bitch, I got you.
And I make the mistake because I should have put you as a cameo in the video for sure. But actually, the thing that people don't know is, so we were talking about this last week. It took 4 days to shoot an episode, right? And we would work every 4 days for 7 days a week. So we always knew what day it was, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. So we didn't know which was which. But so when I was producing the music video and we had to shoot the music video, we had to actually move the schedule around because my photo shoots were always on day 3 of a schedule out of 4. We made the music video day 2 because judging was on day 4. And Tyra told me she wanted the judges to see a finished video. Not a rough cut, because in the final edit, remember the show airs, as you know, Jay, months later. We could have cut in the finished video. But Tyra wanted the finished video in the real judging. So I had hired an editor to work with me on editing this video and put in the little effects and everything. And I literally worked with that editor for almost 36 hours after we shot that video. I was so delirious by the time I handed the video off to judging. That's the only thing that I drove. That's the only thing I even remember about the music video because I lost so much sleep.
Okay, well.
He's like, okay. Oh,
I wasn't there.
Okay, so Petite Ken, period Ken, that's interesting, name there, asks, we're only laughing because never mind. Jay, you could say, I don't know. The question is, how do you really feel about Janice being a judge? I sense some major tension when you were the guest judge. I guess that's for me. And how do you feel about her, and how do you feel about the dramatic Katie and Camille too? But let's talk about Janice first. How do you feel about Janice as a judge?
Well, what's the petite?
Petite Ken.
Petite Ken. I think Janice gave it straight. I mean, just both barrels of the gun. She came straight from her experience. Of course, things had shifted by the time she started modeling. I mean, the world had changed a bit. There was more people involved in the model's career than just the agent. But she gave it raw and unfiltered.
She did. And the tension I think people are talking about is probably my biggest regret ever in top model history. So here's my behind the scenes tea.
Wasn't that booking for Tyra's video?
No, I'm sorry. I guess I'm never going to live that one down. Was in the judging that I was in, the guest judge in cycle 2. And yes, I regret 2 things. A, I was sitting there in a Gautier corset with this shirt. It was very fashion at the time, but whatever. Janice was being very cantankerous and argumentative, that judging. And I really liked Janice, so she started coming for me when I was on the judging panel. But it actually kind of scared me. It made me nervous because I'd always looked up to Janice Dickinson, and she's a huge model. And then she was like firing like nasty comments to me left and right. But my biggest regret was the statement that I made that the network ended up using as a promo plug that ran for the entire week. Was she said something nasty to me about me wearing in a corset, like she could snip one thread and my corset will come out. And I said, well, I'll snip one thread and your face will fall down. And I felt horrible when I said it, but she was.
No, you didn't, bitch. No,
I did. I felt horrible.
Bitch, you didn't feel horrible. You said exactly what you wanted to say. That's how you felt at the moment in real time, and you said it horrible.
But she kept attacking me. They didn't show that in the judging that they were she was attacking me. So I felt like I had to go back to her with something. I really regret it now. But anyway, so I will go on to the next question. I very much regret that statement. Okay, sorry. Okay, so Victoria Plural, another question is, how much of the drama was in the house that we were all privy to, and did that impact who stayed and who went home?
Well, first of all, fans, we're early on into the cycles of America's Next Top Model. As we go further into more cycles, you'll see me showing up a lot more. And then when I became a judge, which is going to be cycle 5, I believe, is when I became a little more involved. So there's a lot going on that I would get information from Jay. He would speak to me about what's happening just when we would have our morning breakfast or on lunch break. And as far as what's happening in the house, I wasn't privy to a lot of stuff that happened in the house because I wasn't on that part of production. And that's also true for me being a judge. When I became a judge, I was always separated from the girls, like having to go to the bathroom. I would have to get a PA and to see if it was clear for me to go to the bathroom so I wouldn't cross the talent. So it was cast and talent could never cross each other. So there's a lot of stuff I didn't know until they came to judging, and I discovered through Tyra's notes or things she would say what would happen. I would ask Tyra, like, really? Like, she did what?
Well, and that's another thing, because someone asked, you know, why wasn't I on the panel more since I was with the girls in the photo shoot? But actually I kind of was, because the notes you were just referring to, she would even say in several judging, she's like, well, Jay's notes say, and because what I would do is I would have to write up notes, which was a lot of work after a day of a photo shoot for every girl, so that Tyra had them in front of her. So, you know, we had those.
So those were your notes, okay? Because Mr. J said, yeah, I remember saying, Mr. J said,
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, the Mr. J said, I mean, of course, Tyra and I would also talk after the photo shoot, but I would also physically write up notes so she had them right in front of her for the judging. So, but in terms of like the other stuff that went on in the house and stuff like that, we weren't really privy to that stuff unless something major went down, which is a question. I've got it written in 2 places right here, which is talking about the famous Shandi moment in the shower. The Shandi moment, we were in Milan. I can actually even skip, I'm gonna run over to the question because I just saw it, because our executive producer, Ken Mock, did address this at the time. So what had happened was, apparently, well, actually, we know it's not even apparently. What happened was what happened with Shandi. She had a moment. She was missing her boyfriend. Yes, she was missing her boyfriend. We know they ended up in the shower. What you all saw on TV was it looked like they were doing something in the shower. They were doing everything in the shower. There was a lot more caught on camera. So that part I knew, because that kind of spread through production like wildfire, because everyone got we had these production phones, these texts like, oh, you won't believe what happened. And someone sent the question because Ken Mock addressed this, and I want to bring up the exact question. I just saw it, but Ken actually said that what had happened was, and I remember seeing the rough cut of the episode, it showed a lot modestly of what happened. Then the Super Bowl happened with Janet Jackson, where Justin Timberlake flashed the titty gate.
On Nipplegate, okay.
On Nipplegate, well, everything came out, and that was on CBS at the time. And then what ended up happening was, guess what? The network, because we're a CBS Paramount production, censored our show, and they had to rush re-edit that episode before it went to air. So the original episode y'all could have seen had a lot more. And I know Ken Mock, here's the question, because yes, Ken Mock did address this before a while ago, the Super Bowl scandal. So what do you think about that, Miss J? He's like,
Shandi. This girl went in prison. Do what you got to do, baby.
He's like, do what you got to do.
Girl, when you was up in prison, girl, do what you got to do. Girl, when you ain't got your man up in there, you have nothing to play with, and you see when you see a hot piece, and you're just feeling the moment, child. You
are so funny when you feel in the moment.
Listen, look, girl, you've been around a bunch of girls.
Yeah.
Either you're gonna flip and get into a little bit of vulva, or you just going to,
you're not going there. What are you talking about?
or you're just going to, you know, take matters into your own hands.
Okay, I'm gonna move to another question because this is gonna go wrong real quick.
No, that's the Shandi shakedown. Shandi did her thing. She felt that moment. She was feeling loved and needed that, and she just got caught.
Even Joanna, I just saw Joanna come up say enough is enough, and we're going to talk about our lovely winner of cycle 2 in a moment and her famous shoots. But the next question we have here from avocado_honeybee, does ANTM pay for everything for the girls, food, drinks, etc.? And then Avocado also asked about spilling the tea about Shandi, which we just did. And they want to know about your opinion on Camille's signature walk. Did you feel that it was?
Well, it was her signature walk. Walk like a butterfly, sting like a bee. And that's going to be the walk that makes me famous. She said it.
Okay. Here's a question that's going to be a little bit, we'll call it a hot topic question, a hot button. This is Wondering Savage is the username. How was it working with Tyra Banks? Was she bossy? Jay?
I say Tyra was a businesswoman.
But that's true. Absolutely.
No, but she's a businesswoman. I mean, because sometimes you have to separate friendship and business.
Yeah,
in order to make it happen. I mean, now, as far as being bossy, she was never bossy with me.
I never felt that from her either. She was never bossy with me either.
Because I didn't have that much contact with Tyra. But now when we got on judging, there was a few moments where we kind of rubbed the elbow or two.
But that's good. That's good for TV. Yeah.
But no. But it was like, well, that's what I believe in. You know, this is what, and we'll get into that for them into the cycles too, because then that moment would be like, well, I know we're here to voice our opinion, and this is what we're going to do, and that's why we're here.
And for me, at this point in cycle 2, her and I worked really well together because I could easily say to her, these are the shoots we're going to work on. You know, someone else asked a question, some of your favorite shoots, I'll name them in a minute. And she was like, yeah, go with this, this, and this. She was never bossy. She allowed me the creative freedom in the earlier cycles to do what I wanted to bring to the table creatively. So I worked well with her right here in cycle 2.
I mean, until somebody writes that book, because, you know, Angelina Ty just wrote his book, which I just heard. So that's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting. But to be fair, I think it's really unfair when people ask that question because, you know, a woman being bossy, what does that mean? It has a negative connotation. Why can't she just be really focusing on her job? The same way when I work on other projects, I'm a stickler for detail, and you know everyone.
And it was her. It was Tyra's show. It was
her show. Yeah.
So she had to be hands-on. She had to be hands-on and be firm with her decisions. If not, the show it would be easy. It could have all gone, you know, upside down. It could have gone south. It could have been a mess. So of course, so I don't think explaining what you want and how you would like to see it in the end.
I don't think that's a negative thing.
Bossy. You know,
I don't think it's it's not a negative thing.
Yeah, I mean, I had a moment, I think, in the very beginning when I spoke out of line, and she pulled me aside and said, you know, she says,
I know the pull aside. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I remember that pull aside. She said, Jay, that was a serious moment. That was a serious moment. It had to be a serious moment. But she knew not to come up there and yell because you yelling, me yelling doesn't solve anything. Yeah,
no, exactly. Oh, and she's not a yeller. Here's a great question. Sion.w. Was there really a hole in Joanna's hair when she cut it herself? And she also said, he also said, I love the creative direction you took with the final 3 beauty shots. Where did you find inspiration for these photographs? Thank you very much. So yes, there really was a hole in Joanna's hair. You know, I love Joanna. And I remember when she was kind of like, girl, what are you doing? Even her eyebrows, and I know Joanna, you're watching, her eyebrows, she had just much gorgeous eyebrows, and then she would like tweeze them, and I was like, no, don't tweeze them. But for that
Joanna, you are not in charge of your own damn makeover. What in the hell were you doing?
Yeah, exactly. But for that last photo shoot, which was with Shandi, Mercedes, and Joanna, yes, I did the creative direction. I also did their makeup. You guys could see me doing their makeup on all 3 of them. To be honest with you, 3 days beforehand, I was trying to figure out what could I do to make each of their beauty shots differently. And we were in Milan, and I literally was running around, and I walked in front of an Armani store. So the helmet that Joanna was wearing, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to put Joanna in that helmet. I walked in, I bought the helmet out of my own money. Production did not reimburse me. Let me be clear. Exactly. My own money. I bought that helmet, put it on Joanna's head. And then, yeah, with Mercedes, I got the wire. I got the wire.
Girl, you better say, girl, times is rough, baby. Miss Corona got the children unemployed. You better get your coins.
I should get my coin back now for that helmet. But yeah, that shoot, I was one of my favorite shoots because it was just, you know, it was just all about them, and I got to do different creative on them. So, and that shot of Joanna as the winning, because we announced her as the winner with that photo. I mean, it's still one of my favorite shots because Joanna like if you saw her film, we'd have to go through, I'd always have to narrow down to like 3 or 4 photos for Tyra to choose the final one from. And I remember going through Joanna's film and going, oh my God, it's like, how do I even narrow it down? Because she just nails the shot, and like that face, the helmet was perfect. So
where's the helmet? But where is the helmet?
You know, I had it till not that long ago, like a few years ago. And then I think I gave it away to someone who had a bike. I was like, what am I going to do with the helmet? Girl, I know, I should have kept it. I should have taken a shot with it first.
They try to put that bitch on eBay or motherfucking eBay.
I said, America's Next Top Model winner.
Baby, the coins for a child, for a piece of nostalgia, darling.
Yes. And someone, Alex Washington Live, also has asked several questions there. And since we're talking about producing, what was it like producing, and what did that job for the season consist of? But it really consisted of finding all the photographers, the locations, setting up the creative. It's a lot of work. I did more work behind the scenes than I did on camera. I think that's the things people don't. And Jay knows. Jay knows. I drove my show.
Sometimes you'd be so out of it, and your voice would be on the floor, and I'd be talking to you, and it'd just be like the day was long, and you know, people want to get involved, people don't want to get involved, and they change their minds, and it's trying to get stuff that people we need right away. And you know, most people don't understand how that works. You know, we need it today for 3 days. We need it tomorrow for 5 hours, and we get it back. It's a lot of moving parts.
It's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
A lot of people are putting in the comments below. I'm also seeing, talk about because there are questions here, all about the makeovers. And this makeover specifically in season 2, one of the things that everyone's writing down there, they're talking about, Katie's makeover. Because I believe in the beginning of the episode, I don't really remember her saying, she's like, oh, you can do anything to my hair, I won't care. And then Tyra gave her this very, very, very short, almost Mia Farrow kind of page boy, not page boy, like Mia Farrow look. And she bawled and bawled, Pixie, and she bawled and bawled and bawled and bawled and bawled and bawled. And yeah, so the makeovers, Katie, blonde, tall, kind of sexy. You really don't remember Katie? Maybe because I these girls, they're just there.
Well, remember, you worked a lot more with them than I did. I did them, you know before the runway teach. And did I get them before makeovers or after makeovers? I'm trying to remember.
Yes, her famous line, someone wrote, I look like a boy. Someone just wrote it. I look like a boy. Yes. And you know what? Here's the thing. With the makeovers with the girls in general, you know, I think a lot of girls come in attached to hair, etc. But being a model is about, you know, changing and getting a little bit of edge and learning to work with whatever is given to you and make it work. Yeah. So yeah,
a good model walks in, and a good model brings some personality and character into work, but she applies it to the things that are required for her to do as a man can. Because if you can't be a man that can, you're going to have to be a man that can't.
A man I can't. You know what? That's like, you know, I love your isms. A man I can or a man I can't.
A man I can. Which one?
What you want to do? One or the other. Mannequin. So people were talking about the shoots, and since we're talking about Katie, because there was that shoot, we did it actually in this factory out in Brooklyn where the girls were held in harnesses. Remember, they were dangled over this big hole.
Yes.
People people actually thought, they were like, oh, well, they faked that for TV, blah, 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 blah. Oh, no. The girls really were dangled like 5 feet high over a huge rusty hole. Now, there were precautions. There was a huge safety thing down below. However, the girls really were in that harness hanging there.
And the fear was there. Fans, the fear was real.
The,
Yes, get further into the cycles, baby. More
yes.
stories to come about that. Down in the grave.
You know what? And someone had asked about what were my favorite shoots from that season. I had mentioned Nigel's shoot. Of course, I love that Adam and Eve shoot. But the other ones that I loved a lot, which caused a little bit of controversy, and I see people writing about it, was the magazine cover shoot, where the girls all got to be on a magazine cover. So Joanna, for instance, was Audrey Hepburn, a young Audrey Hepburn. And then Shandi was Nicole Kidman, and they were supposed to look like different celebrities on the cover. But what people keep asking about is the controversy around Xiomara, because yes, she was a black model, or she is a black model, but that we also painted her darker complexion to look like Grace Jones for the Grace Jones cover. What do you feel like with, oh, by the way, people are writing your sound is off again. Can you do whatever you did before? Your sound just went weird again, Jay.
My sound, can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you, but it sounds weird. I don't know why.
I'm still sitting here, I haven't touched anything. I don't know what's happening.
Okay.
A lot of technology, baby. I wish I could help you.
I know, but I can hear you. I think everyone can hear you, but anyway. So Xiomara, what did you think about her being, with this? Do you think that's an issue? She was already a black model.
I didn't think it was an issue. She was going to enjoy character. She was going to character. The creative was Grace Jones. I'd rather see a light-skinned black girl painted up darker than a white girl painted up like Grace Jones.
Yes.
Then I'd have a little bit of an issue.
Yes, exactly. Like if you paint a white model, that is a big issue, painting a white model black. It still is today.
There's so many amazing, beautiful black models out there that can have the job.
Yeah, and we were looking at the models in the competition, like Mercedes was Billie Holiday, and because Xiomara was tall, we thought she could take on Grace Jones.
The mammoth, the energy and the visuals of Grace Jones. I mean, she was a big boat. She was big.
Yeah. The rest of your questions. Disney Jakey says, I hear all the girls who flew to Milan, that after they were eliminated, they didn't go home. If not, what did they do, or where did they live while the other girls were competing? That's actually a really good question.
Where did they go? What did they do? They became tourists.
That's exactly right. They became tourists. There was actually a term. We had to label the girls different terms, and you had to think about this too. When we shoot in public, and people by then knew about the show, we would have the girls that we were shooting with in a photo shoot, and then we'd have the eliminated girls there as well for confidentiality.
What they call decoys? No?
Bogies.
Oh, bogies. That's
I didn't come up with the name.
Bogies. No, not boogers. I mean, we had a few booger bears, but no, they were bogies.
Yes. But they did not fly home. So that is the tea. That is the truth. The girls did not fly home.
And let's face it, whoever answered or whoever asked that question, it was an all-expense paid holiday.
Yeah,
you got pocket money.
They got pocket money. Yep.
You got to go out. You got to go hang out. I mean, great, wonderful. Meet some Italian trade. It was fierce.
You stop. Okay, next question. Michelle is asking, how hard was it to tell these young ladies the cold, hard truth? Michelle, was it hard for you?
Hi, Michelle. It wasn't hard for me, And I mean, I just said it. I said what I said.
But also, honesty is the most important thing anyway.
There's also a way to say things without being mean. It's just being firm. And for some people that take it as, oh, he was being such a bitch or being shady. No. You look like a busted up pig knuckle, so a busted up pig knuckle you are.
No, but here's the thing though. Like, I love when people are writing, not the Italian trade. You're like, you look what you started. You're funny. But I think at the end of the day, you want honest feedback. No one's going to benefit if someone's lying to you. That doesn't help anybody. Yeah.
I mean, that's not good for the business. I mean, because then they go from top model, and they go and try to really have a serious career. And they'll say, well, what they told us was this. No, you have to be direct, forward. You can be firm. There's no need to be nasty or mean. Just give them the information because we're setting you up for what's happening in the real world. Yes, it's TV and some things get a little extra, but I would say sponge it, take what's needed, and go out.
And go out and do your thing. By the way, I'm noticing a lot of comments coming up from Keeping It Kinky. First of all, I love her. I don't know if you saw the video I posted. This is just my new kindred spirit. She has this heart of gold, but she speaks it like it is. And she's a nurse on the front lines. And I posted a video. It went viral. Everybody had that video up where she's like, listen, y'all, if you're going to stay at home if you got a little, I can't remember her words. She goes, you got a little, stay at home. Don't come to the hospital. When I tell you, but I just found out because I've been DMing with her back and forth. She actually lined up an audition for Top Model at one point. She just told me this. So
really?
I just want to give you a hey, girl, because we love you and we love what you're doing on that front line.
Baby, my niece Nastasia is out there too. My niece is out there working day in, day out, working overtime. She's separating herself from the hospital. She's at the morgue. So it's heavy. It's very, very heavy.
Very heavy. But we're not doing COVID talk up on this show because we're trying to just bring you entertainment because everything's so serious. Everyone's going back to the Shandi thing. They're asking now, do you feel like production did Shandi dirty in any way? And I know it's been many years since Cycle 2 has passed, but they can't escape. Do you feel like she can't escape the slut-shaming? I don't feel like she was slut-shamed.
No,
personally, she made a decision. And we got to remember one thing. These girls, when they sign on to the show, I would never want to be a contestant on a reality show. But when you sign on to this show, and everyone give me a hell yeah if you know this, you sign away, you're being shot 24/7. You sign away your rights.
You have to quit the job. You have to leave your family. If you're with a modeling agency, you have to drop that contract because you may have to go. If you win, you go to another agency. Child, Shandi did not. There's no shame in having.
And she knew cameras were around. Okay, that's the thing that everyone keeps saying. Oh, well, production did her wrong or this or that. These cameras, they're not hidden cameras. These are men with steady cam harnesses on, carrying a big camera. They are walking around the girls. So the girls are aware the cameras are there, you know, like let's
fans, Shandi got caught up in the Italian trade moment. That's all. She got a little and a little caused a relationship, but then okay, fine.
Yeah, it was the boyfriend who was screaming at her. Remember, he was like, "You had sex" or something like that. I don't know. Yeah. So listen, I mean, if you're gonna go on a reality show, do know this: you are being shot all the time.
Yes.
And I think, and I understand sometimes people also critique models thinking, contestants saying, well, they knew the cameras were around them. But I will say this much. When obviously I'm working on the show in a different way. I don't know how you felt, Miss J, but especially during photo shoots, which were like 16-hour days sometimes, you actually tune out the cameras because it's only two or three cameras. You end up just focusing on doing your job. And sometimes I'd watch the episode and see stuff that I said or the way they edited it. Because they love to splice cut. Okay. They love to splice cut eye rolls and all this stuff.
That's fine.
Yes. No. And we know who that is, Michael. I'm calling it out now. Michael. Editor.
My thing is fans. I always say, if you don't say it, they can't edit it. Done.
But they can Frankenstein bits and pieces to get what they need.
You can see the Frankenstein pieces, but again, if you don't say it, they can't post it. If you don't say it, they can't post it. Own it.
Own it if you said it, or own it if you did it.
And that's it.
Okay.
Bottom line.
Someone asked a great question. Eureka asked, if you had to be quarantined with one model from Cycle 2, who would it be and why? Ooh, that's a good one.
Ooh. Myself. So
you know why? Alone? You'd be like,
You know why, baby? Look. You know what? Do you know why I want to be quarantined with myself? Because, baby, I'm my own best friend. I'm my own best friend, and I'm going to breathe in my own face.
There you go, because quarantine, right? Asymptomatic people we keep away. You know, actually, but it's a fun question to play around with. And it's from so long ago, and of course, we've all changed since then. So I have to kind of go back to where my mindset was then. I guess if I couldn't pick one though, I would have to narrow it down to a couple. I'd probably definitely say April for sure, and Joanna for sure.
Well,
Like
yeah.
April and Joanna, I love their vibe. I love their energy. April was a lot of fun.
But
And
if
maybe
I
even
had
Mercedes.
to choose one,
We're supposed to choose one, but I can't choose one, I don't think. But I would say Mercedes, April, and Joanna. We would do our
I,
own little quarantine thing.
I would say Shandi.
Why Shandi? Because
So we,
she knows
so,
where to get the Italian trade.
so we can talk about the Italian trade. That's what I'm saying.
It was like, so we could talk about the Italian trade. You are
Shandi.
hilarious.
And we both are tall.
Oh, and you're both tall. Well, she was kind of like tall-ish. So since those are all the questions that we had pulled out of the timeline. Oh no. Someone said after the show produced. I'm sorry. This is Ava Mega.
Hey, Ava.
After the show is produced, how much time goes by before the actual airing of the show? That's a good question.
But is it
It's like 3 months.
I think 3 months.
Yeah, I think it was like 3 months. And by the way, you guys, you have to think about how hard this was for the winner. Always, actually for the entire, I mean, everything was confidential. Everyone had these confidentiality clauses, but can you imagine you were announced as a winner? Joanna here was announced as a winner in Milan at this amazing, after this amazing D squared fashion show. And then you have to shut all that up inside for like
3 months.
Actually, more than 3 months because the show still has to air.
Yes,
like
you guys,
5 months. Yeah,
you have to shut it down. So it's very, very difficult. It's been difficult for us when, journalists try to come up to speak to us about the show and try to be shifty.
Yes. And by the way, I'm looking at a lot of your questions, by the way, crawling across the bottom of the screens because you're talking about Takara and all that. Takara?
That was it.
Takara is next week because season 3. Next Friday is going to be juicy, Jay. Oh my God, did you think of that? Next week is cycle 3 because we got Eva. Eva. We got Takara. Oh, and we got some major tea. When we flew to Tokyo, there's a major scandal that nobody knows. Nobody knows the scandal about what happened to the girls when they flew to Tokyo. Do you remember what happened?
I remember what happened.
Don't say it now. We got to save it for
I remember what happened to me. I remember when my black ass showed up in Tokyo. What happened?
I know you were left at the airport. I know, and then you called me. Like, what was I going to do? I was like 2 hours away at a hotel. Okay, you're spoiling cycle 3 stuff. So guys, we're looking at the bottom. We'll see what other questions you have. I love how you guys are like, oh, we're already hyping up next week. Yes, and Norel, I'd see, you guys are all talking about the stuff that's just next week. We will definitely dive into cycle 3 next week. I'm trying to think, Miss J, was there any other major tea from cycle 2? We know the Shandi. There was no real scandal though.
But didn't somebody push somebody? Didn't Joanna get pushed?
Yes, someone asked about that. Yeah, Joanna. They were saying in the music video, Tyra's music video, who was it? Was it April they're saying? Or no, who? Oh no, Joanna pushed April or someone pushed, I can't remember who pushed who deliberately. Oh, was it Ciamara? I can't remember. Can you guys remember the fans?
Hey fans, you know who pushed you? I remember seeing Model Down, and I think it was Joanna who was pushed.
Yes, Joanna was pushed by somebody. God, it was a mistake. Those girls, the choreography was a mess. And if you knew how long that day was, and I see, Oscar James just chimed in. I was there. And we all know, we love our Oscar James, which catch my roots coming in. Last time I did a self-hair.
You said it was an accident.
It was an accident. Come on. But can we just tell you, that was a really fun thing because I know Oscar's on here. He just said, hey, Oscar boo. Oscar he'd worked with Tyra since she was like 16 years old as a model, but he hadn't worked on the show. But I begged him, I was like, okay, Oscar, for this music video, I need you to give me the Tyra Banks that everyone knew. Because Oscar was definitely kind of the person who helped create the Tyra Banks look. You know, the hair, he has that look with the hair, like, he knew how to get her hair right. So he did the music video. And he was there. And we worked that long day. He goes, oh, that was cute. Bye. He was like, that's a long ass day. That
So,
music
yeah,
video we
so
shot till the
you
wee
saw
hours
this.
of the morning.
I thought she was trying to knock out of the competition.
Oh, you going back to, but who knocked who? We still don't know. Was it Camille?
Yeah, I don't
Or
know
was it,
who. I don't know who pushed. I just
that
saw
was
Joanna.
so long ago. You do realize we're talking about a cycle we taped like the 2003. So this was fall of 2003 is when we did this. Oh,
Okay.
can I tell you another scoop story? Oh, and behave when you answer this. Behave when you answer this. Yes, I'm pointing to you. Okay, behave. So here's the thing. So cycle 2, we got a new co-executive producer who is a huge producer who has worked on The Amazing Race. He does Legoland. He does everything. It was Anthony Dominici. And I remember meeting him and he came on board the show, but he brought a great energy to the producing team. And I thought that's when the show started coming together, Anthony Dominici. And you know I'm saying behave because Miss J always exactly, just stay nice and quiet. But Anthony was new to the show that year. I think season 2 was great because that's when the team started really coming together because Nigel was new to the show. Nole was there. What is that face saying?
No,
Exactly.
I love Anthony Dominici. I spend time with he and his wife at home having home cooked meals.
Great. Yes. And someone just said it was April that pushed Joanna. They just wrote it. So, but it was a mistake.
And then there was April. Wasn't there something between April and Nigel? There was
I think that's what everybody said. But you know what I really think it is April or Nigel when he would be he was new to the panel. And, he's British. And I think British humor comes off sometimes very flirty or it could come off condescending or whatever. So I don't know. Maybe that's what people were picking. I think that's what people were picking up on.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. I just remember what happened in Milan. Oh my gosh. I just remembered that trip too. I remember being in a store.
You know something? You're right. Yes, April was similar to Nigel's wife. You're absolutely right. I just saw that go right past the bottom.
They are, yes, a little similar, but that doesn't mean anything. Come on.
No. I mean, who's gossiping? Who's starting?
By the way, I see Julie Auerbach popping up at the bottom. She's going flirty, haha. I'm like, But I did remember going to a store in Milan. And I remember I walked into Vivienne Westwood and something happened with my foot. I fell out and I fell all the way down the stairs when we were shooting there. Yes, that really happened. Do you remember me telling you that? Like I fell out, bust my ass, big time.
Oh God, what a day, what a world.
Oh, somebody just wrote, I love ANTM Untucked. Is this Untucked or is this ANTM Rewind after dark?
Baby, you know something, but April.
Yes.
I would give it Nigel some.
Oh, you would have given Nigel some? So does that mean so did you have a thing for Nigel when you met Nigel?
No, but I just given him some just for shits and giggles.
He's like, no, but I would have just given Nigel some just for shits and giggles. Okay.
Yeah, I would have given Nigel some. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hashtag ANTM Untucked. And what an untuck. Any other? I have all my questions that we pulled from everybody. I don't know. Do you guys have any other questions? Everyone's saying April is the bomb, blah, blah, blah. Thanks for the love, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
I have a question.
Uh-oh.
Where in the hell are they?
Where are they? Oh, the models?
Yes.
From that cycle?
Where are all these girls today?
Well, we know what I love about Joanna won and she went on and she did things. By the way, I remember walking on Fifth Avenue and seeing Joanna in the Sephora store because that was part of her prize. I guess you could say she was the first top model to get her prize at this time because of what happened.
Okay, you know something? I think we just had enough. I think we've had enough of this conversation.
I think that's what Joanna got her prize. Right, Joanna? Anyway, she could chime in with that. She got her prize, but I remember seeing her in Sephora. But Joanna has gone on to do so much work. Like, I remember her on HSN. She's everywhere.
Yes,
still is.
I remember. seeing Joanna also. She's interviewing me during Fashion Week. Camille, I had a little bit of a contact with every now and then. And I saw another girl from at the Elton John Oscar party. I saw another girl. I forgot what cycle it was, but a tall girl. And I was like, oh my God. And she thought I didn't remember her. But I remember that face because I always thought, girl, you had so much going for you, but you really didn't want it, is what I thought. What's her damn name? And
you forgot her name.
Yeah, and I don't know where Takara is, you know, because when she released those dolls.
Don't you remember when she did the Italian Vogue? But you're jumping into cycle 3. Stay in cycle 2.
Yeah,
and by the way, everybody there are a lot of questions going on right now saying we should do this every week. We are doing it. Jay and I are going to do Jay's Chat every Friday at 12 noon Eastern, and that is 9 a.m. Pacific, and we're going to do a different cycle every week. Next week is season 3. We've already teased it. Season 3 has so much juice and gossip. We might have to do an extra long episode because there's so much.
As I said, the further we get into the cycles, there's so much more to talk about because the show became bigger. The further we got in, the bigger it became, the more people became involved in the show who thought they would never do the show.
And oh yes, there were people who came involved with the show who, where are my glasses? Here, I'll get glasses. There were people who said they would never do the show, started doing the show as we went down. And then the other thing is people working on the show kind of got a little, their personalities changed. And then, you know, there were a few more kind of bumps in the roads behind the scene as the seasons went on, so to speak.
I just thought about something. I think it was maybe 2 days ago that when we got our papers. Now that I think about it. No.
Wait, we can't wait because we're gonna clarify that when we get there. Don't even go there.
I just realized it was this month. Yes.
You are hilarious. But yes, guys, we're gonna have so much tea. The next few cycles, cycle 3 next week, I can tell you we're gonna do an extra long episode. It is so much fun. A lot of juice. Jay, this is fun doing that memory lane with you.
Thank all of you for joining us today. It's been real.
Yeah.
And it's a kiki. And remember,
it's a kiki and it's fun.
It's just a conversation that we're having, you know, amongst ourselves and amongst the loving fans. And we all thank you.
Chit chat. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you, Jay.